Welcome, everyone. I am so incredibly thrilled to have you here today.
Sasha, I'm absolutely buzzing for this session. It's always a highlight.
Right? Today, we're diving deep into something truly exciting. We're exploring Vibe Coding, React with Lovable.dev.
Ooh, vibe coding, I love that name already. It sounds so energetic.
It really is. This is lesson 2 of our ICAP capstone project series. Our focus today is on software architecture to vibe coding.
Software architecture to vibe coding. That sounds like a powerful journey. I'm ready.
Fantastic. This entire presentation, this amazing module, is brought to you by ICAP Technologies. We are so proud of what we are building here.
And we are so grateful for all the insights you share, Sasha. It's just invaluable.
My absolute pleasure, Marina. So, let's jump right in with Vibe Coding with Lovable.dev.
Okay, Lovable.dev. What's our big mission with it today?
Our grand goal is to build an application. This app will help us create and manage capstone projects.
A capstone project manager. That's so practical. I can already imagine using it.
Exactly. Think about the one you see on the left there, from icapp.co.in. That's our inspiration.
So we're aiming for something similar to that? A full-fledged project dashboard?
Absolutely. And here's the magic part. Lovable.dev helps us achieve this incredibly quickly. It's truly astounding.
Quickly, you say? How quick are we talking, Sasha? My curiosity is piqued.
Prepare to be amazed, Marina. Look at this, UI generated by Lovable. Just look at it.
Wow, that's a full interface right there. It looks so clean and professional.
Isn't it incredible? What's truly remarkable is that Lovable.dev can generate this entire user interface.
It generated all of this? The whole layout, the buttons, everything?
Every single element. And it does it in about 30 seconds. Think about that for a moment.
30 seconds. Sasha, that's mind-blowing. I can barely open my code editor in 30 seconds.
Right? And it's not just a static image. It's immediately functional right in your browser. Live, interactive.
Functional? So I could click on things? It's not just a mock-up? That's genuinely revolutionary.
Precisely. This image, as you can see, shows the output. It's our ICAP project's dashboard. Fully functional, ready to go.
I'm just blown away by the speed. It truly democratizes building a professional UI, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It's a game changer for rapid prototyping and even full application development. Now, let's peek under the hood a bit.
Yes, please. I'm always curious about what's happening behind the scenes. How does this magic work?
Excellent question. Here, we're looking at the React code generated by Lovable. This is a snippet from the index.tsx file.
Index.tsx. So the core of our React application then?
Exactly. It shows the basic structure of the React application. You can see the initial React imports, very standard stuff.
Okay, like use state and use effect, I imagine?
You got it. And then, importantly, the definition of the main index component itself. It lays out the primary structure.
So Lovable doesn't just give us the UI, it gives us the actual well-structured React code for it? That's amazing.
It truly does. And it's clean, readable code too. Now, continuing with the React code generated by Lovable in index.tsx.
Okay, let's dive deeper into the code. What's next?
This section is crucial. It shows the initial state for our projects. Lovable doesn't just give you an empty shell.
It populates it with something? That's so thoughtful. It saves so much time.
Precisely. Lovable populates it with sample data. This includes project titles, descriptions, categories, and even requirements.
So right out of the box you have working data to see how the UI behaves. That's brilliant for testing.
It makes development so much faster. You don't have to spend hours mocking up data. Still on index.tsx.
More React code. What vital piece are we looking at now, Sasha?
Here we see more of the React code generated by Lovable, specifically the state management for creating and editing projects.
State management. The heart of any interactive React application. Using useState hooks, I presume?
You got it, Marina. It leverages React's useState hook, making it clean and idiomatic React.
That's fantastic. So it's not just generating a basic structure, but also handling complex interactions like form states.
Exactly. It also defines the reset form function, which is super handy for clearing inputs after a submission or cancellation.
A reset form function, little details like that really show the quality of the generated code. It thinks ahead for you.
It truly does. It's like having an incredibly efficient junior developer at your fingertips, generating boilerplate perfectly. Now, on this slide, we continue to examine the React code generated by Lovable from index.tsx.
More structure then? What part of the UI is this responsible for?
This part of the code defines the main structure of the application's user interface. It's the big picture layout.
Okay, so the scaffolding, like the header, maybe a navigation bar?
Spot on, Marina. It includes the header, a very prominent Create Project button that's crucial for our application.
A Create Project button. That's the gateway to adding new work. Very important.
And then, crucially, placeholders for our project editing and creation dialogues. These are where all individual projects can be added or edited as needed.
So it builds the dynamic parts too, knowing where the data will flow. It's so thoughtful.
It absolutely anticipates the dynamic content. For example, dialog boxes are shown or not shown based on the appropriate state variables, which in turn are set when their corresponding buttons are clicked, as we shall see later.
Yes, got it. Let's keep digging. I'm fascinated by how comprehensive this generation is.
This section of index.tsx shows how the project data is mapped to display individual project cards.
Mapping data to cards. So it takes that sample data we saw earlier and visualizes it?
Precisely. Each card includes a title, category, status, and description. Everything you'd expect to see at a glance.
And is it laid out nicely, like a responsive grid for different screen sizes?
You bet. It's laid out in a responsive grid via the app.css file where media properties are defined. So it looks fantastic on desktops, tablets, and phones. Seamless experience.
That's incredible attention to detail. Responsiveness is so often an afterthought, but Lovable builds it in.
Exactly. It handles a lot of those best practices automatically. Now, the final snippet for our React code from index.tsx.
Okay, the last piece of the React puzzle before we move on. What's crucial here?
Here, we see the components for updating and deleting projects. This is where the real, CRUD, power comes in.
Update and delete. So it's not just view only. We can actually modify our projects within the UI?
Absolutely. This includes input fields for project requirements, so you can edit details easily.
That's a huge capability. And the buttons too, I imagine, for triggering these actions?
Yes, buttons to cancel, update, or delete a project. And, of course, all the associated event handlers are wired up automatically.
The event handlers too? So the forms are truly interactive, ready to submit data. That's astonishing.
It is. It lays out the full functional foundation. Now, this is exciting. Fetch-generated code for local editing.
Okay, so we've seen the magic, but can we actually touch it? Can we get our hands on the code?
Oh, absolutely. That's the beauty of it. We connect the Lovable project directly to GitHub.
GitHub, yes. So it's version controlled, collaborative, all the good stuff.
Exactly. Once connected, we can clone the repository locally. This is huge.
So I can pull it down to my own machine, use my own tools. That's freedom.
It is total freedom. This allows us to work on the code using our preferred development environment. Whatever you love, use it.
That's fantastic. I always feel so much more productive in my own setup. So once it's cloned?
Once cloned, we can edit, commit and push generated code. It's a standard Git workflow.
Excellent. So it's not a black box, it's a foundation we can build upon.
Precisely. For instance, a simple change. We can modify the title of the application.
Okay, a quick cosmetic change. Very practical for branding.
Right. This can be done in any editor. I like using Cursor, since it also allows for AI-based vibe coding.
So I make the change, save it. Then what?
Then, you commit your changes, like any good developer, and push them back to GitHub.
And the magic happens there, right? Does Lovable know about these changes automatically?
Oh, it absolutely does. They are automatically reflected in the Lovable project interface. It's so seamless.
That's incredible. So I push, and Lovable updates. That's truly continuous integration for your AI-generated code.
It really is. As seen here, where iCap Manage Projects is now the new title. It's live. It just updates.
That's super cool. It really bridges the gap between AI generation and hands-on development.
It's perfect for developers who want to jumpstart projects or add custom logic without starting from scratch. Now, a big one. connecting a database using AnvalDB.
A database. So we're moving from static UI to persistent data. This is where it gets real.
Exactly. AnvalDB is fantastic. You can register on Anval, works and create a blank application. It's super easy.
Anvil.works. Okay. So it's a cloud-based database solution?
It is, and it's so intuitive. Anval provides a simple interface to create and manage tables.
Like our projects table, I imagine?
Yes, precisely. Like our projects table shown here, which holds all our project data. Very straightforward.
That looks so user-friendly. No complex SQL commands just to set up a table.
Right. And here's another powerful feature. You can easily publish your Anval app to make its functions accessible via the internet. Securely.
Accessible via the internet. So an API for our data almost instantly?
Essentially, yes. Which leads us perfectly to server-side code in Anval.
Okay, server-side. Is this where we write the logic to talk to our database?
That's exactly it. We create a server module within Anval. In this case, we called ours Database API.
Database API. Makes perfect sense. What language do we use for this?
The best part? You write Python functions to access the database. Python is so versatile and widely loved.
Python. Oh, that's fantastic. I'm so comfortable with Python. This makes it so much easier.
These functions can perform all those essential operations, getting projects, modifying projects, or creating new ones.
The full CRUD operations. Get, create, modify. And they're securely hosted on Anvil servers?
Yes, absolutely securely hosted. It's a robust back-end, without having to manage servers yourself. It's amazing.
This is truly serverless in a very friendly way. I'm excited to see how it all connects.
Your excitement is perfectly timed, Marina. This diagram illustrates the whole system architecture, React.js plus Anval.
Ah, the grand blueprint. This is always so helpful to visualize everything.
Yes. So, our browser, where you view the app, runs the React application. That's the part generated by Loveable.
Right, the front end, beautifully designed and published via Loveable's web server.
Exactly. Now, when the React app needs data, it makes API requests. These go directly to the Anval application server.
The Python functions we just discussed then? Those are living on the Anvil application server?
Spot on. That Anval server, running our Python code, then interacts with the Anval Postgres database.
Postgres, a powerful reliable database, so it's using standard SQL or NoSQL queries there?
You got it. It uses standard queries to retrieve or update data, whatever is needed. And then, the data journey reverses.
Back to the React app for display, I presume?
Precisely. The data is sent back to the browser for display. It's a clean, efficient flow. Simple, yet powerful.
That's a fantastic robust architecture. And it all came together so smoothly. Amazing.
It truly is quite elegant. Now, let's see how we're connecting React app to server functions in the code itself.
Okay, the actual code that makes the connection happen. This is exciting.
Here is fetch projects function in our React index.tsx. This is what pulls our project data.
So fetch projects is the core function for getting all our project listings.
It uses an async await pattern, which makes the code so much cleaner and easier to read for asynchronous operations.
Oh, I love async await. It makes handling promises so much more intuitive. No more callback hell.
Exactly. It fetches project data from our Anval server function, getProjectServer.
So that's the Python function we wrote in Anvil, exposed as an API endpoint?
You are absolutely nailing it, Marina. It's exposed via a unique Anval URL, making it publicly accessible for our React app.
This really ties everything together. The front end talks directly to our custom backend.
It's so satisfying to see it all click. Continuing with connecting React app to server functions.
Okay, what's the next key function we need to look at for interactions?
This is the handle update function. This is critical for when a user edits an existing project. Best part is, we can ask Cursor's AI to generate these calls.
Vibe coding in Cursor now, and we get handle update automatically. So when I click save after making changes, this is what fires.
That's right. When a user updates a project, this function sends a post request to our Anval server function, modify project server.
Another Python function on Anvil then. So we have one for fetching and one for modifying. Very clear.
Exactly. And it includes the project's ID and the form data. So we know which project to update and with what information.
That makes perfect sense. Sending the ID ensures we update the correct entry in the database. What about error handling?
Excellent follow-up, Marina. This look again at the handle update function, focusing more on the error handling and success messages.
Error handling is so important for a good user experience. You don't want the app to just crash.
Absolutely. It's crucial for robustness.
So like validation for required fields before the update even happens.
Precisely. It indicates the validation for required fields, giving immediate feedback to the user. Very user-friendly.
That's brilliant. No wasted server requests if the data isn't valid.
Exactly. And then the main code block illustrates the subsequent update logic. This is where the response from the server is processed.
So if the update was successful, the local state of projects updates. The UI reflects the change immediately?
Yes, the local state of projects is updated, providing that instant visual feedback. It feels so smooth for the user. However, this was in the code already though, as the smaller inset on the slide shows the code before we added server calls.
That's a complete well-engineered flow. Front-end validation, server interaction, and then local state update. Fantastic.
I'm so glad you see the full picture. Now, after connecting everything, the exciting part, run connected app locally.
Running it locally, so I can test all these connections on my own machine before deploying?
Absolutely. We first need to install Node, if you haven't already, as it's the runtime for our React app.
Standard front-end setup, makes sense. Then the project dependencies?
Yes. Then, install required Node modules in our project directory using npm install.
Classic npm install. Getting all the React libraries ready.
And then, the moment of truth. The npm run dev command starts the development server. It's always a thrill to see it launch.
Oh, I love that moment. When the console lights up and says, app running on, so our app is truly live now?
Yes. As you can see, our application is now running locally on localhost 8080. And here's the kicker.
The kicker? What's the best part, Sasha?
It's displaying the project cards populated directly from our annual database. Not static data, but live, dynamic information.
It's pulling from the database, locally. That's just fantastic. It really shows the full integration working flawlessly.
It's so rewarding to see it all come together like that. And once we're happy with our modifications.
Yes, once we've tested everything locally, the final step for live deployment, right?
Precisely. We can deploy modified app back to Lovable. This brings us full circle.
So Lovable isn't just for the initial generation, it's also our deployment platform. That's super convenient.
It truly is. This involves committing and pushing our changes to GitHub, which we've done before.
Standard Git workflow again. Makes sense. Then, how does Lovable know to update the live version?
Then, you just publish the updated version from the Lovable interface. It's a simple click.
Just a click? That's almost too easy. No complex build pipelines to set up?
No complex build pipelines. Lovable handles all that for you. This makes our working application accessible online for everyone to see.
That's incredible for rapid iteration and deployment. It streamlines the whole development cycle.
It really does. And here it is. Our working application is now published on internet.
Oh, it's live. It's actually out there. That's such a thrilling moment.
It is. You can see the live application running in the browser. It's fully functional.
Complete with the project cards, the create button, everything working?
Yes. And look, even a pop-up for editing a project. It's fully interactive.
The edit pop-up. This demonstrates the successful complete integration of our React front-end with the Anvil database. Wow.
It's incredibly satisfying, isn't it? To see it all come to life.
So Sasha, what have we achieved? Can we sum up this fantastic journey?
Absolutely, Marina. This is the "What have we achieved?" slide. It's quite a list.
I bet it is. It felt like we accomplished so much in such a short time.
We successfully created a React.js project dashboard application. And it was based on just an iCap interface image.
From an image to a full React app. That's still blowing my mind.
And the Lovable.dev AI created this entirely on its own. From a simple prompt and that initial image. Unbelievable.
The power of AI in development is truly here. It's not just hype.
Not at all. We then fetched the generated code from Lovable via Git connectivity. So we owned the code.
That's key. getting local control. Then we connected the React.js UI to a server-side interface.
Yes, for full, CRUD operations, so important for any dynamic app. Create, read, update, delete. All there.
And we implemented those CareUD server functions too, hosted on Anvil, using its uplink facility, which is so clever.
It's so streamlined. And then, we pushed the code back to Lovable for hosting. A complete circle.
Seamless deployment. And we can keep iterating?
Absolutely. Further modifications can be made using Lovable's AI, or as custom changes, just as we did above.
So we have options, AI assisted or manual. That's powerful flexibility. This is truly incredible, Sasha.
It truly is a fantastic workflow for modern development. Now, just to summarize our full work on Vibe coding a React application with its database server in Anvil.
A final summary. Let's reinforce all these amazing steps.
First, we generated a React application using AI on Lovable. So simple, yet so powerful.
Instantaneous UI generation. Check.
We explored its basic structure. We understood the generated code.
Deep dive into the React code. Check.
We connected Lovable to GitHub, cloned, edited, committed, and pushed changes.
Full GIT integration, local development. Check.
And those changes were reflected in Lovable automatically. So satisfying.
Continuous updates. Check.
We created a database in Anvil and wrote server-side functions accessible on the internet.
Backend development with Python and Anvil. Check.
We modified the React application by instructing cursor to connect to these server functions.
Connecting front-end to backend. Check.
Enabling it to send and receive data. The heart of the dynamic app.
Full data flow. Check.
We tested the modified application locally. Crucial for stability.
Local testing. Check.
Then committed and pushed to reflect in Lovable. And finally, published the application via Lovable to be visible on the internet.
Deployment to the world. That's the ultimate success. Sasha, this has been an absolute masterclass.
It's been a fantastic journey, Marina. And what's next for us? We plan to refactor this entire application in Flask.
Flask? Oh, that sounds exciting. Python on the backend for sure, a different framework. I can't wait.
It's going to be another deep dive, Marina. Thank you so much for your incredible questions and enthusiasm today.
And thank you, Sasha, for leading us through such a vibrant and insightful session. I learned so much.
My pleasure, Marina. See you all next time for more Vibe coding.
Absolutely. Bye, everyone.